The Utah Hockey Club has won the lottery. That's right. They've won the draft lottery. What does that mean for the Utah Hockey Club? Well, Robyn and I are going to talk about it on this live edition of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Tom Callahan, Robyn, Leano here with you, going live with this Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast as Utah has won the draft lottery. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I am a veteran NHL voice, Tom Callahan, longtime team analyst Robyn Leano. We are the dynamic duo that brings you this Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast every day and reacts to breaking news just like this. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Robyn, I got to tell you, so earlier today, I was on ESPN 700 in Salt Lake. We were talking about this scenario and basically agreed, nothing's going to happen. Nothing ever happens. They're picking 14th. Can you get an impact guy at 14? Shocker of all shockers. And we're going to hear from Bill Armstrong several times during the course of this podcast. We've got some clips of his reaction for you, so stay tuned for those. They did it. It happened.
It did happen. It's interesting too, because I was just having fun with, the tankathon, just continuing to hit refresh. And I'm like, all right, yeah, nothing's happening. I figured nothing's going to happen. I mean, for a team to have a 1.5% chance to win the draft lottery, move up a max of 10 spots, it just, to me, it doesn't seem real, especially, Tom, after last year. We were talking about a team. I mean, we're talking about a draft lottery, and I was just telling you this right before we went live here, that the 2024 draft lottery was complete, it was boring, right? Because 1 through 16 was, 1 through 16.
Right. Nothing changed. It chalked out, which is not the worst thing for the teams. But in this case, this was huge. And Robyn, I've actually got 2 clips of Bill Armstrong talking about his reaction to winning the draft lottery. So let's go ahead and we're going to roll one of those here right now.
To pick at 4, I mean, we were just a couple seconds ago, we were just 10 back. So it's it still hasn't sunk in, but what a great opportunity for us to be able to move up that far in the draft, and now we're right up at the top of the draft, and this is an exciting moment for us. It's a game changer for us. So I can't wait to huddle with the scouts tomorrow and go over it and kind of see. Obviously we'd been studying the players that were available to us where we thought they'd fall. Now we're gonna obviously leap up a little bit, and it's going to be exciting times. But I mean, just great stuff for the franchise. I can't express in words on the excitement of when that happened and the opportunity in front of us.
So obviously they're pumped, Robyn. And it's interesting, you talk about it and you think about it, the scouts have been preparing for 14. So now the map changes completely to 10 spots up. That is a whole different kettle of fish.
It really is, right? We're talking, middle to late first rounders. Those are ones that usually maybe come out a little bit later on. They it's like a whole different group of players we're looking at. When we talk about a top 5 player, we're talking about a potential impact player who can be ready. This draft is different. I mean, it's no high profile names. I mean, there still is a lot of good players out there. Don't get me wrong. I feel like this is still a very strong draft. It just feels different than the last couple of years, and I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for Utah to take advantage of this. Really,
I feel like this is a big depth draft year.
Yes.
There's going to be strong players available at multiple positions. And even that's why 14 didn't bother me to pick there. But at 4, I feel like you're not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. But you have a much better shot at getting a good player. So I want to play this next Bill Armstrong clip here. We'll hear again from him and multiple times here, his reaction to different questions here in the show.
It never does. We sit at these things every year and we're just like, yeah. It's like we were in awe when we were here. We're like, oh my God, like what just happened to us? So it's just an amazing moment, and it really hasn't sunk in, to be honest with you. I think when we get down to doing some work tomorrow and looking at the lists and what we might be able to get, it's going to really get exciting for us. But it normally, you sit in these things and sometimes nobody moves and you go home, unhappy, or you got bumped down a spot and you're going home happy. But we'll never forget this moment. This is truly a great moment in the franchise.
As if he was talking about last year, perhaps, Robyn, where there was no action, right? I mean, nothing happened. And so this year, it's crazy, and it's crazy that it happened to the Utah Hockey Club. I mean, it does happen. Ping pong balls bounce the right way, but this was huge.
Mm-hmm. And what's the most interesting thing is, I know I've said it multiple times over the course of the last year, whatever. There are still some old Arizona Coyotes fans who have followed us to this show, to the Locked On Utah Hockey Club show. If you do, I welcome you, but I think this is also going to be a little bit painful thing to say, where it's like, it's interesting to see that the Arizona Coyotes never had this kind of luck, right? And then within the second year, the Utah Hockey Club gets it right away. Like gets something like that, gets this kind of luck within 2 years. Astonishing. It really is.
Sabres fans still feel the burn of ending. Not that Jack Eichel was a bad player, and he's a pretty good player, and he actually won a Stanley Cup before Connor McDavid, but how franchise changing would Connor McDavid have been? So I think that sometimes the draft lottery changes fortunes immensely. Maybe moving up to number 4 has a chance to do that. And I think that's really interesting. We are actually later on in the program, Robyn's got a list of the last 25 years worth of number 4 draft picks. We're going to talk about the ability to make an impact, players who can jump in and make things happen. I actually got a chance to ask Bill Armstrong a question, and I asked him his thoughts on potentially putting that number 4 pick in play. So you're going to want to stick around for that answer, because I was pretty intrigued by his answer. But Robyn, this might be my favorite clip, though, out of everything, was because this year they decided to televise the process of the ping pong balls, which they've never done before. They did it with the old, here's the team coming out of the envelope type of thing with the commissioner and the assistant commissioner, and it was okay, but it was not great. Dramatic.
The process actually has done, like, I think I remember them actually pulling the balls only once before, and that was during the COVID draft lottery, because, we were all doing it from home, so they wanted us to give something fun to watch.
Right. And so this year they said, you know what, we're going to show the sequence and all that. And I thought this was funny because Bill Armstrong thought they won, but didn't know for sure that they won, as he explains in this clip.
Well, it was kind of all over the map because they didn't reveal things. So I thought we had won, but I wasn't quite sure. So when they tuned back in and showed us that we'd won. I mean, that's you just start thinking in a different. It's your mind just totally switches to like who's available that you can get at 4. So it's really exciting times for us. It puts us in a different area of the draft and right up top, and it's going to be a great challenge for us to kind of go back and look at some of the players that are available in that spot and go to work. We've had that ability to pick in the last few years up in that range. So I really do think it's good as a staff when you're always kind of picking in the same range. You get used to what's available and the talent around you. So it's truly exciting, and we're gonna get to work tomorrow and start preparing.
I think it's kind of funny, Robyn. They went to break on Bill Armstrong, and he still didn't quite know. He thought they won, but didn't know till they came back and did the reveal.
It is pretty funny, right? What kind of suspense you're putting their own general manager into?
That's it. And I love it. So questions we've got with Bill Armstrong answers coming up, including hey, is that number 4 pick in play? And stay tuned. Seriously, it's a really interesting answer. But he also talks about whether or not this is going to change the process of the rebuild for the Utah Hockey Club. So we're going to have that coming up for you right after this. And today's show is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it is pretty easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and you start building wealth. And when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much money was kind of what I call leaking out. It was just escaping into different places, whether it was eating out or it was streaming services, whatever it was. Well, now I budget smarter and I save more money. So I love that about it. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use our code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So make sure you go to the website. You have to go to the website, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. And the show's also brought to you by Game Time. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and if you've never been to a live NHL playoff game, seriously, it's unlike anything else you could possibly do. It's intense, it's fast, it's hard-hitting, the energy is through the roof. It's absolutely amazing. And sometimes, hey, you want to go to a game, and thanks to Game Time, getting in the door is easier and more affordable than ever. Game Time is the fastest way to grab playoff tickets, even for those must-see matchups. Prices actually drop as a puck drop gets closer. And with last-minute deals, you can save up to 60%. So when you know it's getting a little bit closer, it works not just for sports, but also for concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Any event you want to go to, check out Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leano here with you on this live version of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast. Want to thank the everydayers and the long-timers for being here with us, as well as the brand new hockey fans in Utah. We will be here bringing you daily content right up through the draft and free agency. And oh boy, Robyn, has our content plan now maybe even shifted just a little bit with the news that Utah Hockey Club has won the draft lottery, and they've leapt up from 14th to 4th overall in this year's NHL entry draft.
Oh, certainly. You know, I was thinking about Tom, I'm still gonna be reaching out to our scouts, but now when I reach out to our scouts who are friends of the show, instead of talking about kind of skipping a whole chunk of players, not only say skipping is the right term, but kind of just looking at a different group of players of this, say, hey, let's break down this player. We have this, we're gonna start within that top 5. I mean, yeah, we're definitely even going to touch on the potential 1 and 2 in Schaefer and Misa. But, I mean, even though they will probably go 1 and 2, but I think it's still worth kind of getting an understanding of what that whole group is going to be like.
And it's interesting because you really don't ever know what's going to happen. No one saw Uri Slafkovsky coming. No one saw Shane Wright falling as far as he did. So these things happen. You never know who you're going to end up with. So at number 4,
exactly.
What a great spot. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, Shane Wright being one of those that ended up being a 4th overall pick. So
that's true. That is true. He did fall to number 4. So here was Bill Armstrong's thoughts on being able to pick number 4, even though they really are a mid-pack team threatening to get into the playoffs, because this is a very interesting perspective now.
Well, I think it is. I mean, you look at the draft and you're like, to get into 4, you have to almost, be it's a tough year as a franchise to go through that struggle just to be able to get into that range to pick at 4. And we didn't have to do that. We were a pretty good team that chased it down the stretch, playing meaningful games and chasing a playoff spot. And we're getting to that point where we're becoming a really good team that's going to have a chance to get into the playoffs. And so not only knowing that we have that in front of us with a really good team and some really good prospects coming, but the fact that we're picking at 4 again and going into free agency, these are exciting times for Utah.
I love that, because that was the overall vibe of the whole media conference when I was on the Zoom call, was excitement. there is definitely now a crazy like buzz, and just there's almost this feeling, Rob, and you could feel there's a feeling kind of running through that office now where maybe we're on the rise a little bit quicker than we thought.
Yeah, it feels like there's a little bit of it. Definitely feels like a little bit of a shift is happening, right? I mean, and if I were yeah, either in that front office, which you could tell there is that feeling, but also though, as a fan, I bet I'm saying you just gotta ride that high and be like, let's believe in this team. Let's believe in Bill Armstrong, because I think we're gonna be ready.
And some of our comments on the live stream here, pretty excited about it. And Brian does ask, look forward to what they do with the pick. Stick and pick, traded for an impact player, and he's good with either option. There are going to be some options, and I do ask him about that. I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But I mean, yeah, you'd have to say that draft was indeed a W. Spaceman nails it, and at 1.5%, that's a pretty impressive lottery hit.
Absolutely impressive, right? I mean, like, again, we're talking about a team that, like, out of 16 teams, right? Out of 16 teams, because half the league gets put into lottery. It's the half that doesn't make it into the playoffs. And Utah at 14, essentially, they're like just like they shooting up right towards the back end of that. With among the lower end of that at 1.5% to win the lottery, to move up 10 spots, a max of 10 spots, and that magically happens. It's, again, that just doesn't happen to anybody.
No, it doesn't. And Robyn, I thought this was an interesting question too during the press conference here. Does it or does it not change the trajectory of the rebuild for the Utah Hockey Club? And let's listen to what GM Bill Armstrong had to say about that.
It doesn't really change the rebuild. Our goal this year was to have a strong team that had a chance to get into the playoffs and that could compete, and at the same time go back into the draft with all our picks in swing. And so we have that ability to do that, and that was what we set out to do. And one pick's not going to change our franchise. Now there's a lot of higher quality talent that's up top. So we'll get a better look at it.
So talking about looking down the road, I think for the impact of this fourth pick, it doesn't change the rebuild because they're happy with the pace they've been on. And the impact, essentially what he's saying is the impact of this player is probably not going to be felt for 2 or 3 seasons unless they get incredibly fortunate.
I mean, and I think that's what puts Utah in a really good situation, right? Because they feel like they don't need to find someone who can help rush this, right? They can still buy into a little bit of their patience to be able to kind of have that kind of impact, right? That's a really unique situation, especially. I mean, you take a look at already the prospects coming in for Utah in the next couple seasons already. Like, I really have a feeling that the 2026-27 Utah Mammoth or Utah Outlaws or Hockey Club, whatever it's gonna be, we still don't know. It's gonna be something. It really is gonna be something.
It absolutely is. All right. I did ask Bill Armstrong about whether or not he was going to put that fourth pick in play potentially. So I've got his answer coming up, along with Robyn's list of recent number 4 overall draft picks coming right your way after this.
All right. Today's episode brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance targets across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for project, or long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can help connect you with a freelance expert who has delivered incredible results. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. And today's episode also brought to you by Post District. Discover Post District, home of 4 of Salt Lake's newest and most stylish apartment buildings. The Register, Post House North, Post House South, and 801 Flats. Each residence offers its own unique take on luxury urban living, with features like waterfall kitchen islands, floor-to-ceiling windows, vaulted ceilings, and spacious patios, as well as walk-in closets. Enjoy premium amenities, including the city's largest residential gym, a year-round pool, golf simulator, massive TV wall for sports watch parties, and more, all anchored by a one-of-a-kind community. Step outside and find yourself immersed in Salt Lake's hottest dining and nightlife scene, with award-winning spots like Urban Hill, Men's Show Ramen, Level Crossing, Melancholy Wine Bar, and Sunday's Best just steps away. Whether you're looking for a studio, 1, 2, 3-bedroom, or penthouse, find yourself the perfect home today. Visit liveatpost.com or call 801-590-6247. Mention this ad for exclusive incentive. Oh, Tom, you're muted.
I am unmuted.
There we go.
Maybe the 4th overall draft pick will go live at Post District. That's pretty jazzy. I love the idea of a golf simulator. That's fantastic. Hopefully, less time playing golf, more time playing playoff hockey in the future for the Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that for sure. So, Tom Callahan, Robyn Leano here with you. I just dropped in the chat a question. Would you make a move with this 4th overall pick? And if so, what would you do? Robyn, I had the chance to ask that very same question to Bill Armstrong. And I said, is it in play? And do you expect your phone to be ringing now? And here's what he had to say about it.
I do. I think people will try and get into that pick. They'll try and get, they want to acquire it. They'll look at our team and say, listen, this team's had more picks in the last 4 years than any other NHL team. Can we go in there and give them a good player and for exchange for the pick? So I think that's something that obviously, we'll always talk about. We'll never shut that door. That's always been an avenue for us to get players, and we're at the position right now as a team where we're trying to make that next step. So we'll always look at that. That's part of the process. But the amateur guys will be looking at the guy to pick, and they don't want to hear anything about trades. So that'll be an exciting moment for us. But yes, the phone will be ringing.
I love that. He's like, the scouts are like, Bill, don't pick up the phone. Just ignore that. We want to do our job. We want to have this number 4 because it's pretty cool for them, right? But I thought that was interesting, Robyn. And in that answer, did you catch that? He said, we're at a stage right now where we want to take the next step. He indicated pretty clearly to me that if they're moving this number 4 pick, it is for NHL right now players.
Talking about an impact player, someone who is going to make kind of really, I guess, I don't know, just change the course in the right term, but just really, make an impact today, right? Not like maybe not like maybe they're gonna like a little bit of a rough down, a little bit down, but hey, have a potential going later, like in the second half of the season. No, we're talking about someone who can impact now
and help you make the playoffs next year. If you could get a second line scoring winger or a solid center for that number 4 pick who is an NHL vested player, because you never really know who's going to pan out.
And the interesting thing, Tom, is there definitely will be teams who will be calling Utah for that. And especially with, and I think this puts Bill Armstrong in such a unique situation of leverage. Now he can kind of use that, and there's so much value put into that now.
Well, not only that, so consider this, exactly what we're talking about here is not only you have the leverage, now you've got the number 4 pick, but you also have other draft capital that you can package. Plus you have cap space, which is a luxury so few teams have. There is so much going right for the Utah Hockey Club going into this draft. They could really pivot to anything they want to do, but it really does open the door up to acquiring a big time impact player if they can convince someone else to come off it. So I'm really curious to see if that might not be the case. Although Jim in the comments says keep number 4. So
I mean, and again, that still would be a good option to do, right? I mean, there is some good options right now. I'm just taking a look at some of the big boards out there, looking at tankathons right now. James Higgins, who's currently committed to play for Boston College next year. I mean, a really good option right there. I'm trying to take a look at his last season: 37 games played, 11 goals, 26 assists. I mean,
yep.
Pretty good.
Jim actually said he wants Higgins or O'Brien with the number 4 pick.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. But I thought that was a very interesting answer. It really did indicate to me that if there is going to be a flip, it sounds to me like they want someone who's coming in right away.
At this point, you listen to anything and everything, but you only quote take the bait on those really juicy offers.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have the luxury of sitting there and waiting. And believe me, once draft day actually approaches and you're at draft day,
the phone lines are going to heat up even more. That's for sure.
Oh, and it's the FOMO. It's absolute FOMO at that point for the other GMs. That's absolutely what it is.
Especially if there's something that if there is, like, let's say a player moves down on someone who's big boy, like, oh my God, this person is still available. Right. Bill, I want this pick. Right, give it to me.
Right. Yeah. All right. Great. Pay me. And that's what you can do with that. So, Robyn, let's talk about expectations for this 4th overall pick. What kind of impact can a 4th overall pick have? How soon can we expect them in? And, it's interesting. He did talk, I didn't clip it, but he did talk about really talking to people in Utah. They're so used to the NBA draft. You pick a player, they're in uniform next year, possibly in your starting 5. It doesn't quite work that way in the NHL. You got a couple of years at least until you're going to see this player.
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend, right? And on a lot of these factors. Some players can go out to make almost immediate impacts in number 4. Some do take a year or two, but then they, like, for the most part. And Tom, I'm taking a look at the last 25 4th overall picks, and a lot of these players, like, I thought to myself, like, oh my God, like, Utah's gonna have some fun if history really repeats itself. Utah can have an incredible player.
Well, give me some of the highlights. Who are some of the best in your opinion? 4th overalls. Like, give our fans an idea of the ceiling.
All right. So I'll go ahead and just pick a handful out of these 25. Right. Obviously, I'm not going to read every single one. I will mention the most recent one with Caden Lindstrom, who was drafted by the Blue Jackets last year. The last few before that: Will Smith by the Sharks, Shane Wright by the Kraken, Luke Hughes by the Devils. Then in 2018, Brady Tkachuk. 2017, Cale Makar. 2016, Jesse Purjärvi. 2015, Mitch Marner. 14, Sam Bennett. 13, Seth Jones. You got, Adam Larson from 2011. Evander Kane in 2009. Alex Pietrangelo in 2008. Nick Backstrom in 2006. I think that's a fair sample.
It's a pretty hefty list, like some future Hall of Fame defensemen in that list, potential Hall of Fame forwards. I would love to get a guy like Tkachuk at the number 4 position. Heart, grit, determination, can lift the team. Cale Makar might be the best number 4 pick on that entire list. In my opinion, one of the best overall players I've ever seen. Just, it's incredible. So yeah, there's a load of talent to be had at number 4.
Also, I mean, Mitch Marner, I mean, that 2015 draft was strong, right?
Yes.
Like, that was incredible. But and I know Arizona Coyotes fans, you're probably rolling over your eyes because Arizona had the 3rd pick that year and picked Dylan Strome. But
yeah, but future Utah Hockey Club player Mitch Marner, I love it. So
there we go.
I'm on my Marner train again this year. I was on it last year in the summer. I'm back on it again this year. So, Robyn, a final check of the comments here from folks. A couple of votes for O'Brien in here. Ninetail says if we keep the 4th pick, if we keep 4, we have some good cap space to bring on an impactful free agent also.
Correct.
There's many options, so can't wait to see what the team decides to do. O'Brien Martone, actually another one that was brought up by Brian P as well. So, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they're going to do down the stretch here. But I have a lot of faith in Bill Armstrong. He really has made some smart decisions. I think he's done some good things for this team. I expect he will do his best to drive the price up, but at the end of the day, if what he's looking for isn't there, then they're going to pick a number 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As the tweet has always gone anytime I've posted it in the early parts of the rebuild, and it's the hashtag and Bill we trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Robyn, any final thoughts here on this one? This is a pretty exciting day.
It is a very exciting day. And all I got to say is just enjoy this win, Utah Hockey Club fans, right? I mean, it's really nice to have this. I mean, again, it just feels it's weird because like it's Utah won, but again, they only got up to 10 over us at 10 spots that they could move up. But yeah, the max to 10 spots up to number 4. That's still absolutely incredible. Going from 14 to within the top 5. I mean, it's just an incredible win and an incredible day for the Utah Hockey Club.
It absolutely is. If you missed any of the Bill Armstrong quotes from earlier on, any of the clips, feel free to rewatch the show after we're done here on the YouTube side. While you're here, please give us a subscription if you haven't already, and hit that thumbs up button. It helps us with the algorithm, but it also helps you find more great hockey content as well. So, Robyn, when they want to reach out to us on social media, where can they find us?
Yeah, you can find just about everywhere. We're primarily on the app formerly known as Twitter, X at LO_NHL Utah. You can also find us on Blue Sky at Locked On Utah Hockey. I'm personally on X at Robyn_Leano and on Blue Sky at Robyn Ice Time.
So I'm on Blue Sky most of the time these days at Tom Talk. So give me a follow over there if you don't mind. But also I do occasionally kind of dive bomb Twitter at Callahan on air. We appreciate you being here. And again, tell your friends, if you like the show, the more the merrier. We're having a great time doing it. And now we've got even more exciting stuff to look forward to here coming down the stretch. So for Robyn, I'm Tom. Thanks for being a part of this live Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.